Started. This is a 2 versus 2 between, on the northern side, we have the great and almighty Zlo paired up with Armageddon versus, on the south side, we have Blowdeer and Mad Mozart. This is a high-ranked, high-risk game. Should be a very fun watch. Mad Mozart is going Cybern, Blowdeer, Aeon. Armageddon is Cybern, and Zlo is UEF. Gonna bump the speed up on this as always, and we will try to take in everything that there is to see. Land first, immediate hydro from Blowdeer. Land first to second air, immediate hydro for Mad Mozart, and a massive power spam everywhere. Holy cow. Again, immediate hydro, first land for Zlo, and 3 mechs hydro instead of 4, breaking the pattern. Armageddon. As I have noted before, in your initial storage, you can build a land factory, 4 mechs, and then hydro and not stall. Or you can build an air factory and 3 mechs and hydro and not stall. And that is preferable only if you have a hydro right next to your spawn. If you have to walk any great distance, it is not worth rushing the hydro. We have immediate expansion all over the map by the southern team, doing a very good job of skipping out with NGs and trying to project as much build power as far away as possible, as quickly as possible. On the northern side, Zlo is doing a more steady expansion, as is Armageddon, instead of advancing engineers to build things further on, taking the slow and steady route. Mad Mozart is queuing up a pretty good factory spam for Navy and has scouts placed across the map. Cybern has extremely strong frigates. They are a force to be reckoned with at the T1 stage. And it is best to get this water locked down as quickly as possible. Maybe attempt to deny the enemy Navy. Has some bomber play early. Armageddon has successfully sniped off these engineers at the bottom. Blowdeer was slightly later getting his bomber out. And I think it will be taken out by this interceptor. Yes, it is. Tons of engineer kills. I'm sure Blowdeer is screaming. He has lost his power spam engineers. He has lost his expansion engineers. That has slowed him down considerably. And on the other hand, he did manage to kill, looks like 4 engineers on the ground of Armageddon. Blowdeer is also pushing early Navy. And Zlo. No, that is Mad Mozart's factory. There is no Seraphim, which is extremely unusual on a 2v2 map with water. Normally, people enjoy Seraphim because you can front artillery across. Mad Mozart picking up the engineers for the expansion on Zlo's territory and is trying for a drop. It looks like the interceptors are going to miss him. He has lost the scouts over here. This may go unnoticed, at least temporarily, which would be a huge problem for Zlo. Another bomber out for Mad Mozart. Mad Mozart is getting very aggressive with his ACU, although Zlo has anticipated it, seen his ACU coming across the water, and is rushing a torp launcher. Had another drop tried by Armageddon. This is like a mirror image going on in the north and south. as far as bomber aggression and drops, although Armageddon was not successful. Blodier does have his ACU on land on the southern side, destroying this expansion over here. Sub out for Zlo. Mad Mozart only has a frigate. He is going to have to get his ACU out of there. The North team did take control of this island. That is a lot of mass points. But I have a feeling that Mad Mozart will deal with that appropriately. Zlo is trying to push a bomber or 3 towards the northern side, but Mad Mozart does have enough anti-air over there. The bombers are slowing him down, but definitely not stopping him. Zlo is starting to get some tanks up as well. He is going to have to put a stop to this, because if this gains any traction, that is going to cause some serious issues. Zlo has gone 100% subs and is trying to deny Navy. Down here, we do have T2 land Wagner's out for Armageddon. This is a nasty surprise on a map like this. You do not see them coming. He has sonar, but basically this is a ghost until it pops up on the other side, and bam, there's a T2 tank right in your lovely base. It is going to kill that mass extractor and another and a tank. And then this drop, have Mantis coming. On the northern side, Mad Mozart has gained traction. This is what you do not want to happen. His his fifth land factory is completed. He has an anti-air, he has radar, and that is a bad situation for this player. He's going to have to invest some mass to deny that. And at the same time, like I was talking about, a mirror image, Armageddon is completely destroying this expansion down here of Blodier's. So really the map is staying symmetrical. It is about 50-50, and naval control is contested. This is anybody's game, despite what is happening in the north and south. Mad Mozart is pulling a substantial amount of air, but Blodier has gone T2 for gunships to try and deal with this Wagner intrusion. It is getting up to Mad Mozart as well. This is causing problems. And it appears that the southern team has lost air, and lost it badly. There looks to be about 50 interceptors in the air for Zlo, and Armageddon is definitely taking advantage of this. He is pulling drops, trying to do as much damage as he possibly can while he has the opportunity. Gunships, alas, are not meant to be. Interceptors are a cruel reality. Zlo has managed to at least temporarily stop this advance. He does have bombers and a couple of T1 point defense, managing to keep his factories alive. Mad Mozart needs to deal with these 2 subs. They are killing off his naval build power, although there are bigger things going on, I think, that he is worried about. Mad Mozart is pulling Wagner's himself, although they are headed in the wrong direction. Artillery coming around the edge here. Tanks are not able to fire on them because of the angle of this ledge. Bodier's finally able to push that incursion back to the water. Hopefully he can deal with it. This cliff face right here was causing some problems for Zlo, but he was able to get some T1 arty out and deal with those units. He is now in the base. I believe this expansion up here is not long for this world. Massive T2 drop. Armageddon is using and abusing those T1 transports. Definitely getting his mass worth out of them. He has started his own base down here. Blodier has swift winds. He is making the attempts to get air control back. That is something that he has to do, because he cannot keep taking drops like this. Blazes on the field, try and help deal with this. Blazes and Wagners do have similar stats. You probably heard my rant in the last video about why Blazes are so terrible. Well, in this map, you will see why they are good. They have high movement speed, high rate of fire, good at dealing with swarms of units, and when they're matched against something that is the statistical match from another team, another faction, they do quite well for themselves. They're just not a land assault tank. They are a hover, like a stripe type vehicle. You would use them to raid, to move across the water unexpectedly for speed, that type of thing. Zlo has T2 gunships in the air. He is finally going to be able to deal with this annoyance on this side. Team 2 does have a distinct advantage in that they have Aeon. They do have swift winds. While there may not be many on the map right now, our Blodir was able to do a pretty good job of denying airspace just long enough to be able to get control of his expansion back. Although he is still going to have to be careful because this thorn in his side is still firmly stuck. And Team 2 has lost naval control with the exception of hover. There are no factories in the water, and they do not have anything on this island. So that is plenty of yummy, yummy, yummy mass for Zlo. Quite the dangerous situation to be in. Zlo is not a good person to be losing a mass war with. Have a T2 drop coming in from Zlo. He is able to cover his transport, get these units dropped off. That looks like a whole lot of strikers. That is going to be quite problematic. FYI, Cybran T2 transports, I find this interesting, have stun. If you attack something with a Cybran T2 transport, it will use an EMP stun similar to the Medusa's mechanism. So if you have a Cybran drop, you can actually stun things around where you dropped your units at and protect them. Over here, finally Blodir has managed a counter-strike on Armageddon. Armageddon does not have any units to deny this. He is going to lose 3 T2 mechs at a minimum, some power. This is potentially quite damaging. Maybe not the biggest hit in the world, but it is definitely enough to at least draw his focus for a while. Although Armageddon, these T2 mass extractors back here left pretty defenseless because you would assume that they're far enough away from the enemy not to be influenced. No sirree Bobby, the Wagner is able to touch them. More blazes pushing across the water. Very large T2 spam from Blodir. That is the standard course of action when you have lost your naval factories. Hover spam, hover spam. He is going to be able to deny this island. He needs to start mixing some flak in. Air is a major problem. There are a lot of gunships for the northern side. Corsairs are Mad Mozart's weapon of choice. It looks like he has about 8 of them. Not sure what he intends to do with them. I would not be using them as interceptors, but apparently he needs the help. Zlo, my goodness, has such an enormous amount of air. He is building air out the wazoo, still building power, still building more air factories. He has secured Navy, so he is basically sitting tight, content in the fact that no one can take Navy from him. Has built anti-air to help him out over the map, and then is just spamming the ever-living hell out of interceptors. Maintaining air control, covering the rest of his team. allowing this carnage to happen. Yet another incursion. Getting tongue-tied here. Wagner's being annoying yet again, as the Cyber Nation does best. Pop in and out of the water. When you're under the water, blazes can't hurt you. Finally, air control is taken back by Mad Mozart. He has an equally impressive air spam. Not quite as many factories, but my goodness, look at the assistance on that one. Mad Mozart is now giving Zlo a run for his money on air control. Combined with these swift winds, that is excellent for his team. Although there is some flak out. I have seen flak shots. Yes, flak is out. Or Armageddon. Flak is lethal to interceptors. It appears that the northern side has somewhat ended in a stalemate. Both players are content with where their units lie, and action has focused on the south. Oh, Zlo shot down. That is a tremendous loss. My goodness. Such hurt. Corsairs are awful for that. Mad Mozart was able to push enough Corsairs to overwhelm the interceptors here and to snipe Zlo's commander as he was trying to help out his teammate. Armageddon, I'm sure, is feeling desperately alone, abandoned. He now has two players descending upon him with no Zlo to hold them at bay. And now we get to watch the disintegration of a base. So many blazes. I do apologize for not keeping a closer eye on that ACU. I do know what happened, but that is a shame to not be zoomed in and watching when that happens. Corsairs now coming out. Torpedo bombers, in the event that Armageddon should try to hide in the water, he will be killed. Blazes just running over this base, not enough units to stop them. Engineers trying to throw up. There are a couple point defense in place, but it will not be enough, I don't think, to stop everything that is headed his way. There was a last attempt, but map control is now firmly in the hands of the southern team. Corsairs coming back around, firing on Armageddon. He does have a lot of interceptors. He will survive that round. Mad Mozart telling him to give up. Armageddon saying, "Never! You must kill me!" Too much flak. He is T2 air proof. Well, that means either you need, yes, T3 air, the choice of Mad Mozart. I am predicting a violent death by stealth strap bombers before the day is through. And here they come. Strap bombers are not nearly as susceptible to flak as T2 bombers are. It appears Armageddon is having major power stall issues. His shields are flashing on and off. Nothing seems to be working. Strat bombers, Corsairs, and ACU number 2 is dead. That was an excellent turnaround for Mad Mozart and Blue Deer. For a while there, everything was getting wrecked, but they were able to reclaim. You can see the only reclaim left on the ground is the last blazes that came across. Everything else has been sucked up and recycled and pushed back out in the form of T2 mechs and tanks. Excellent job by the Southern team turning that around and laying waste to the Northern team. Thanks for watching, everybody.